is God's plan of salvation has always been the same. And please note that. When you go all the way back to Abraham and you see the affirmation that salvation was attained by faith, you find that God did not change the plan in the New Testament, which gets to our second point. We find comfort in a consistent natured God, and that He does not change. He is immovable. He does not change His mind, and His promises are actually everlasting. Because there's a sentiment that exists in the world today that the Old Testament God is very different than the New Testament God, and that He is wrathful and full of vengeance in the Old Testament, but in the New Testament, for some reason, He's all of a sudden full of grace. But when we go and look at this, we find that God has always been full of grace and full of mercy, and that His plan of salvation has always been the same, and it has always been hinged to the one thing that man can do by the Spirit is have faith. And so understanding that, I hope it brings you comfort to know, because if our God is erratic, if our God changes His mind, if our God breaks His promise, here's a dilemma you face today. If you think that the God of the Old Testament is different than the God of the New Testament, you cannot be sure of your salvation, because that could be changed at any moment. But when we see that faith has always been the institutional way to salvation provided by God, we can rest assured in that God's word is true and it is consistent, and that we do not have to worry about a God who would change His mind.